Have you ever been out on the road and seen a motorcycle zip past with blood bike written on the side, and you've probably wondered, what are they actually carrying? Well, it turns out they're part of this incredible volunteer army called Blood Bikes Wales, and they're without a doubt unseen heroes providing a vital lifeline to the NHS. So today we're going to pull back the curtain and find out exactly what they do, who these riders are, and the massive life-saving impact they have across all of Wales. Yeah, if you live in Wales, you've almost certainly seen one of these bikes. You can't miss them. They're a familiar sight, often against a stunning backdrop just like this one. But the real story, the one about the riders and what's actually inside that cargo box, well, that's where things get truly extraordinary. Right, so that's the big question, isn't it? You see the bike, you recognize the logo, but what is their mission really all about? What's going on inside those boxes on the back? The answer is so much more complex and, frankly, more critical than you could probably imagine. Okay, so to really get what they do, you first have to understand why they do it. This whole thing starts with a huge challenge that our National Health Service faces every single day, and Blood Bikes Wales was literally created to solve it. Think about it. The NHS never sleeps. It's a 24/7 operation. And because of that, there's this constant, urgent need to move things between hospitals, labs, and clinics. We're talking blood supplies, patient samples, critical documents, you name it. Now, using taxis or private couriers for that, especially at 2 in the morning, gets incredibly expensive. That's money that the NHS just can't afford to waste. And this is where Blood Bikes Wales rides in to save the day. They are a 100% volunteer-run charity. I mean, every single person. And their mission, it's so simple but so powerful. Provide a totally free courier service to the NHS across all of Wales. This saves the health service a fortune. But more importantly, it helps save lives. So you hear blood bikes and you think, well, it's just blood, right? Nope. The name is actually a bit misleading because they carry so much more than just blood. The sheer variety of life-saving stuff they transport is just fascinating. Let's take a look. This chart gives us a fantastic snapshot of their work from last year. You can see the biggest slices of the pie are scheduled runs and ad hoc. You know, those urgent out-of-the-blue callouts. But check out the other categories: human donor milk, sepsis samples, and even something called FMT. Let's dig into a couple of these because they're amazing. Okay, so scheduled jobs, these are the bread and butter of the service. These are your regular daily or weekly pickups. Think about a volunteer rider collecting patient samples from your local GP's office and rushing them to the main hospital lab for testing. It might sound routine, but it's absolutely essential for getting diagnoses right and getting patients the care they need fast. Now this is a service that most people have no idea even exists. These volunteers transport donated breast milk to neonatal units for premature and very sick babies. For these tiny, vulnerable infants, this milk is literally a lifeline. Last year alone, they moved over 1,300 liters of it. Just incredible. And then there's this, which is just wow. It shows you how specialized their work is. They transport live FMT treatments. These are incredibly time-sensitive deliveries, often done in relays with other blood bank groups. And it's for a procedure that has up to a 90% success rate for some really awful conditions. It is cutting-edge medicine, made possible by a volunteer on a motorbike. So who on earth are the people making all this happen? Well, the entire operation is powered by volunteers. But it's not just about the riders you see out on the road. There's a whole invisible network of people working tirelessly behind the scenes. You've basically got two core roles here, riders and controllers. The riders are the visible heroes, right? They're out there in all weathers, covering 90 shifts a week, making the deliveries. But for every rider on the road, there's a controller at home, acting as the brains of the operation. They're the logistical hub, taking the calls from the NHS, planning the routes, dispatching the riders. They cover 21 shifts a week, making sure the whole system runs like clockwork. And when you add up all those shifts from the riders on the road and the controllers coordinating from their homes, it comes to this: a staggering 36,400 volunteer hours every single year. That is just an immense gift of time given completely free to support our NHS here in Wales. And here's the kicker. That huge number, 36,400 hours, doesn't even tell the full story. Not even close. It doesn't include the thousands of unrecorded hours that people put in to do all this other essential work. I mean, someone's got to maintain the bikes, run the IT, do the fundraising, the accounting, manage the rotas. The list just goes on and on. So, what does all this incredible volunteer effort actually add up to? Let's break it down because when you look at the impact in numbers from just their last year on the road, the scale of what they pull off is just mind blowing. 7,239. That's how many jobs these volunteers completed for the NHS in just 1 year. And you gotta remember, every single one of those jobs is a person, a patient, a family getting the help they desperately need.
And to get those thousands of jobs done, they covered an absolutely incredible 391,858 miles. To put that into perspective for you, that is like riding to the moon and then more than halfway back again, all by volunteers on Welsh roads.
And look, this isn't just a local service for the big cities. With their fleet of 22 bikes, they provide this free service to every single one of the 7 NHS health boards in Wales. From north to south, east to west, no corner of the country is left out. And behind every single one of those stats is a real person, a dedicated volunteer giving up their time, riding through our beautiful, but let's be honest, often challenging Welsh landscape, in the wind, the rain, day and night, just to get the job done.
And this is where it really hits home, the impact on real people. This quote from a donor says everything. Thank you for delivering my chemo tablets every month, though rain or shine. It just brings all those big numbers right down to a personal, human level. And it's not just the patients who feel it. The appreciation comes straight from the healthcare professionals on the front line. This simple message, we really appreciate all you do for our patients. It just shows how vital and valued this service has become inside the NHS itself. And this final quote, I think it just sums up how so many of us feel about the charity. It's seen as this selfless, amazing organization that has stepped up to fill a massive and essential need in our healthcare system. And that leaves us with a final, really important thought. These volunteers are, for all intents and purposes, an emergency service. They are rushing life-saving items across the country against the clock. But they do it without the legal protections that official emergency vehicles get. So as they're out there taking these risks for all of us, the big question remains, how can we do more to make sure these unpaid heroes stay safe on the road?